80s rock guitar backing track in E minor. CVT Guitar Lesson for Jason, standard tuning. I've basically written out these solo ideas for you, kind of formatted it. A lot of improv going to be in this. Not a whole lot rehearsed, but I have rehearsed some parts that are going to be in this for you, so we'll talk about that in a second. But a lot of fun, and I really think this is going to help you. I hope you like it. It's good. And there you go. So, first things first, we're going to switch guitars. Because I just snapped a string. But, the thing is, there was some improv, like I said, in there, but I touched on the parts that I wanted to teach you. Okay, so one of the things I tried to focus on was repetition. Outside of following some root note changes on the chords, I also wanted to have the repetitious patterns to get you into the melodic hook of soloing without having you worry about all this crazy stuff, right? I'm gonna turn this down in here. So I'll kind of talk about it as we hit each part. I let it run through the first time, and then at 25 seconds is where you'll actually come in. I was noodling with the little feedback on the notes, but when it kicks in at 25 seconds, we're going to go from D to E. So we're going to slide from 5th fret on the A, vibrato to 5, and in your head, Jason, you kind of want to picture 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3. They're whole notes, you know, through this. Almost like Screaming in the Night from Crocus, right? So that could give you some guides as far as outside of the timestamps that are already here. If you have a rest that's there for a while, you're holding a note, it's always nice to vibrato it. It breathes life into your playing so it's not so stale. Okay, so back to the, that part. Palm mute 7, E, 5, A, and then go 5, slide 7, vibrato. 9, hammer 10, pull 9. And then 9, slide to 5. That gets through that whole progression, the guitar chord progression for the most part. And then, actually it gets you through it. And then you're back to this part. And that'll put you at 35 seconds, 10 seconds later. Over to 5. Do that again. And then 43 seconds. Technically that kind of wraps up the section. It's like 2 times around, and they put that suspended chord that resolves on the end. So I wanted to highlight that by going 7/8 GB to 7/7. Not rushed, you don't want to go, just kind of fall in the groove in the pocket there. And that's why I timestamped that part at 43 seconds. Now, my mindset for the next part would be, the song should build, as all songs usually do, right? I'm going to take the concept of what we just did and move it up an octave. So it's building in intensity. 7G, slide to 9. 7, palm mute 9D, 7G, and then 7 slide 9. See, that's an octave up from all this stuff is. And then 9 slide to 7, and then a little fill at 53 seconds in. That I could have just let that 7 ring out, but I wanted to add a little more. So you'll be going. And that's 8-7B, hammer 8, pull 7. And then on the G, 9-7-7, slide to 9. 9, slide to 11. And then 10B at a minute in. Here's where I started to improv a little bit. There was only one of me and I couldn't flip my tab page over, and I knew there was a bend coming up, but that's 10B, bend, hold, release, pull to 8, and then 10 vibrato. Okay, then hammer 10, pull 8 on the B, slide to 7, 7 twice on the G, slide to 9. That is at 105. So it's a 5-second passing from that would be the beat of it. And that's where the first half of that backing track ends, okay? Just let that note ring. It's building into the heavier part, you know? You'll hear it come in with the all that stuff. And that's where the song picks up to its highest point. This is where I'm doing the a pedal tone. So I made things get a little more complex as we went along without, you know, having to go, you know, bunch of crazy stuff, you know. Wanted to keep it Schenkerish, melodic. So 7A, pinky, is important. And then 5-4-5 on the D, and then 4G, and then 5-4-5 on the D. We're gonna do that, and it's alternate pick. We're gonna do it 3 times. Keep your fingers close in proximity to the neck, to the fret, and down to the string. And then just a descending scale. 7-5-4 on the G and D, and 7-5 on the A. So you have up to tempo, and then after that, then you're going to continue on 2 more times. So it's, and then go into 5A. Turn to page 3, and then that would fill the gap of like a palm mute 7-5 EA, 4D half step bend, and then 4D. Then once again, I want to take the A and B concept that we used in the first section of this song of a lower melody building to the octave up and intensity and all that stuff, building. We're going to do that here now as well, and that takes you to 1:33. You can switch to your neck pickup if you want it here, but 9G, just an octave up of the, so 9G, 8-7-8 B, 7E, 8-7-8 on the B, 3 times, just like the other one was. Even the descending scale in E minor, 10-8-7 on the E and B, and then 9-7-7 slide 9 on the G. 7-9-7 hammer pull on the G, and you'll go. Then palm mute 9-7 DG, and at 142 we're going to hit that suspended chord part again, 7-8 to 7-7 on the G and B. So I want you to have points of familiarity as well as reference in this song, because if you listen to that chord progression, you'll hear where it goes, where the chord change is quicker. That's where that suspended is coming in, and by tagging that, Jason, the listener is going, wow, this guy's worked this out, he knows what he's doing, he's played me out. I just jammed over it a few times, wrote out what I wanted to put, and I knew I was going to improv over it. But you know, I think the way that this is set up, you're going to, if you listen close, like I said, to the progression behind it and what changes, it's going to help you when you're writing your own solos. That doesn't just go for the song, that'll go for any song. When they're ending a progression and it's getting ready to repeat, those endings are a good chance to wrap something up that's different and then come back into a little hook or groove that you're doing. Lots of options, really, but maybe we'll do several of these if you want. I mean, we got 2 of them already that we're doing. So the next thing you would do is at 1:43, this is a little shreddy, but it's at moderate tempo. It goes. So it's 15B bend, 12E upstroke, and then 15 pull 12B. I know you know that riff. 15 12 15 GBG, down up down, pull 14 12. So you have 14 D and G, pull 12, 14 12 D, 14 13 12 A, vibrato rest. And then go 10, hammer 12, pull 10, slide 9 on the A. That's how we'll wrap up that end. We could go and then start the next one. But there's enough time in there where I felt like let's add a couple more notes. And I just played some other notes in that scale. So then we're going to repeat that main riff. Then I went to it, rather than play the same thing, I wanted to change it up. So I went with an octave. 9A, 11G. I'm muting the D. Half step slide up, half step slide back. Make sure that you only hear those two notes. Oops. And our first one. Alright, so moving on from there, at 1:53, I caught this, but it wasn't in order of the way I wrote it on here. But I tried to remember all the parts that I had written. 14 15 GB, I love these. Back it with a couple fingers. And hit them both, bend the G string a whole step 3 times. Actually 4 times.